Good morning. My name is Peter Convey, Channel Manager for Dratec UK, and welcome to this webinar on the new 2927 series, which are 1 gig dual WAN VPN firewall routers. On the webinar today is myself, and take a closer look at the performance and functionality is Łukasz Veligorski, who is our technical specialist in Dratec. I'm particularly excited about this product because not only is it the first 1 gig dual WAN product in this class, but whilst it looks like the remainder of the range, it's had a complete redesign internally. Let's take a look at the agenda. First, we have overview of the router range and where the 2927 series sits, followed by a product comparison between the 2927 and 2926, and Łukasz will take you through the router performance. A look at the physical interfaces, management console, and key features. Then I will rejoin to go through the different models' pricing, where to go to find comparison charts and collateral, followed by a Q&A with Dratec CEO, Alex Szuka. One more slide from me, and as you can see, the 2927 series can be managed by Dratec ACS, meaning you don't have to go to site to inspect the device. Using ACS, you can form this remotely. Now I'll hand over to Łukasz. Are you there, Łukasz?
Hello, my name is Łukasz. I'm the Dratec UK and Ireland product specialist, and let's have a look at what product range we've got currently available. So, as you can see on the left, we've got the very popular Vigor 130 DSL modem. Then we've got the Soho 2762 series that can handle up to 300 megabits per second total maximum firewall throughput. Then we've got our best-selling 2862 series, 400 megabits per second, and the 2926, and then the 2952, and our flagship 3910 that can smash the traffic with up to 10 gigabits per second. So if you want to add the 2927 into this list, then obviously it comes next to the 2926. However, look at the performance, 1.8 megabits per second. So it's one of our fastest routers right now. So you can have 950 megabits per second for 1.1 or 1.2, or the total of 1.8 gigabit per second. So let's compare the 2927 and the 2926 routers. As you can see, they both come with the 1 gig 1.1 interface, and the 2927 has an extra LAN port, so with a total of 5 ports. Actually, it can be 6 because 1.2 interface is switchable. So you can have 1.2 or LAN 6 port configured on this model. Then the USB ports and the key capabilities of this router is the NAT throughput. Hardware accelerated 1.8 gig is a huge improvement. So a single WAN interface can handle up to 950 megabits per second. When more than one WAN interface is active, the total throughput is 1800. By NAT throughput, obviously, or firewall throughput, we mean the traffic that is coming from LAN and is sent out through the WAN interfaces or received from the internet and then delivered to any local devices. And this router is a load balancer, so obviously the traffic can be sent through more than one interfaces. So 1.1, 1.2, etc. can be used at the same time. The other improvements are the VPN performance. So with hardware accelerated IPsec, first 16 tunnels are the performance is higher now. So up to 800 megabits per second can be achieved. The SSL VPN performance has also improved 120 megabits per second with up to 25 VPN tunnels, SSL VPN tunnels to be more precise, can be configured here. And something new in the Dratec UK range for the 2927 series is the SIM slot. This product comes with the 4G plus modem, which is faster than our previous models, and the Vigor 2927 LAC will be available soon. So dual SIM LTE module, it will be available. So those three capabilities, I would like you guys to remember: the total throughput of up to 1.8 gig, improved VPN performance, 800 megabits per second or 120 for the SSL, and the LTE options are now available. Now let's have a look at the interfaces we've got. So the physical and specification of the router itself. As you can see, the standard LED status indicators are available. So the ACT light will be flashing if the router is up and running. You can see that 11, 12 or LTE interfaces are also active or not, or even the USB. Other options such as QoS enabled or Wi-Fi 5G or 2.4 will be showing here as well. By the way, you can turn the Wi-Fi on and off by using the button on the left. Then we've got the USB ports. The LTE model comes with a single USB port, and all of our 2927 routers come with the 1 gig 1.1 interface. Then 1.2 is switchable, so you can have up to 6 LAN interfaces or 2 WAN Ethernet interfaces here. Number 6 is the wireless antenna for AC models that are here, and then there are 2 LTE antenna slots available at the rear of the product, next to the dual SIM card slots for the L models. Worth mentioning that the 1.3 and 1.4 interfaces, they can be used for wireless connection, so 2.4 and 5G can be used as well. So you don't end up with having 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, etc., but there are additional 2 wireless WAN interfaces available as well. Let's have a look at the dashboard. The very well-known, hopefully, DreOS operating system that comes with very similar dashboard as well. I've just discussed. So when we log into the graphic interface, exactly same indicators are available. Green lights indicate that the status of features or interface is being active. So the LTE, 1.1, Wi-Fi, etc. You can also see the system information. The firmware, as you may notice, is 4.1.0 here. So it's the very latest firmware, new edition. And you can see the LAN information below as well, IPv6 addresses. In green, you can see the subnets that are up and running or disabled, and the WAN interfaces as well, the IP addresses, etc., the uptime, which is handy. So again, the new feature, currently 1.3 and 1.4 is disabled, but as you can see, it's now listed permanently, so there is no need of switching the 1.2 interface. You can just configure 1.3 or 1.4 directly through its own dedicated pages, so they can be up and running along with other WAN interfaces. Now let's have a look at some key features of the product. So as I mentioned earlier, this is one of the first dual WAN over 1 gig appliances in this market segment by Dratec, and you can reach up to 1.8 gig total combined throughput with the firewall, content filtering, and QoS enabled. So any other features running on the router shouldn't really impact the performance. So gigabit dual Ethernet WAN can be enabled again, each of them can allow you to reach up to 950 megabits per second. And this product is a great solution that comes with high throughput with load balancing and failover connectivity. It is suitable for fiber to the premises and gigabit internet connections. And let's have a look at the configuration that is available for that. So let's say we do have 1.1 and 1.2 connected to the internet, and there is a new session or new packets coming. So if we go to the routing load balance route policy section, it's a page where we can specify profiles for routing purposes. In this case, we have open index 2 that's it's not configured yet, but we can specify obviously the name and the protocol that should be matched. It doesn't have to be, it can be any selected there, the source IP or the destination port, so that will define our service really that we are planning to use, and then the interface. So the traffic can be sent through WAN or even LAN interface, or if there's a VPN running and configured, then we can use that as well. If for some reason one of those interfaces are not available, failover mode is also an option here, and or a second route policy once configured. And worth noting here, the priority can be also applied to every single profile. So on the left, we have the graph where new packets are coming, and the router needs to decide where to send them or which interface should be used. So for example, we have a VoIP packet, and we have a profile in the routing section that tells the router, oh, VoIP packets should go through 1.1. Perhaps it's faster than 1.2. So that's how it's gonna be used. So it's not only load balancing, but we can specify one interfaces for every single packet. If there is no match because there is a different packet actually being sent, and the source IP address is 192.168.2. something, let's say it's our LAN 2 IP address, then we may have a profile that tells the router, oh, this should be sent through 1.2. So it will match, and the router will send the packet through 1.2 interface. If there is yet another packet going to be sent to the internet with the source IP address, in this case 192.168.1.10, we may have yet another profile configured, and on this occasion the packet will be sent out through the VPN tunnel instead. So that's a huge flexibility here. If some packets do not match, or most of them probably won't match any of the profiles, then the router will use its load balancing feature, and then the packet or packets will be sent through 1.1 or 1.2 interfaces. That depends on the load balance configuration as well. So that's the huge improvements compared to some other products available on the market that only support single one being active at the same time. Now let's have a look at our LAN ports. So we obviously have, as mentioned earlier, 5 ports plus an extra 1.2 that can be set to LAN 6 port, and obviously that can be combined with the VLAN configuration. So let's have a look how easy it is to configure that. So in the LAN VLAN configuration, we obviously enable that feature, and it's really the matter of clicking the boxes, checking the boxes for, let's say, VLAN 0 here, that will be assigned to port 1. Then we can specify subnets. Up to 8 subnets can be configured on this particular router, and we support VLAN tags. So tag 22, let's say, is assigned to subnet LAN 2. So what that means, we can add a switch. Let's say a switch will be connected to port 5. So there we have a trunk port here as well. And if it's a DRATEC switch, then you can configure it through the router's switch management, or any other router switch will work as well, as long as it supports VLAN tags, and then that can be configured here too. and match the settings. So there is full support for 802.1q VLAN tagging, and that's an ideal solution for, let's say, guest network configuration and other LAN segmentation. Let's talk more about the subnets that we can configure on the 2927 series. It is quite similar to other products, obviously. So this one again can handle up to 8 subnets, so we can segment our LAN, and each of the subnet can have its own detail page configuration available, where we can configure DHCP server settings such as IP range, DHCP pool, DNS server IP addresses, etc. So every single subnet can have its own DHCP running, and that is fully supported on the 2927 series and other routers as well by DRATEC. The other feature I would like to discuss here is the dual SIM 4G plus LTE model. Imagine that you have a wired broadband connection and it's down, and the internet connection is business critical. For example, you have tills used and they can't register transactions. Maybe the servers are in the cloud. So basically there is no business running, customers can't pay, so we may lose huge amount of money here. Or another example where the DSL connection is quite slow and we need that additional broadband for load balancing. Here's what LTE can do. So the 2927 LAC router can provide with high-speed mobile broadband connectivity for internet access and the VPN as well. Where the single cellular network is a single point of failure, you can actually add a second SIM card as well there. So what's good about the 4G Plus, it doubles the maximum theoretical speed. So this is the 2927 LAC model is our first Cat6 product. LTE category 6 uses carrier aggregation to improve 4G speeds. So it allows you to get best performance out of the 4G broadband available right now. Cat6, category 6 is up to 150 megabits per second, and this product comes with the Cat4 is 150 and Cat6 is 300, so it joins channels together and can reach higher speeds. Obviously, it's backward compatible as well to 3G networks, and where 4G is not available, and it's unlocked to any network, so we can use BT, EE, Free, O2, Vodafone, or Aircom here. Now, you might be familiar with other DRATEC products such as 2620LN dual SIM router. It's a lower cost option, but it only comes with a single WAN interface that can be active. So you can have 2 SIM cards installed on this particular model. However, only one will be active. Same applies to the 2927. However, 2620 doesn't support load balancing, so 1.1, 1.2, or any other one cannot be enabled while the LTE is running. The other product you might be familiar with is the 2862 LAC. So this is the load balancer. This product actually handles multiple WAN connections at the same time. So what we end up with is the 2927 LAC load balancer. Obviously, it doesn't come with the built-in DSL modem like the 2862 series do, but it can handle connections that are up and active on 1.1 and 1.2, and then one of the SIM cards as well can be enabled simultaneously. So load balance mode can be used for 3 WAN interfaces. So just to clarify, you can have 2 SIM slots used, and one of them will be active. So one SIM card will be connected to the internet, and if for some reason the connection is down, it will fail over to the second SIM card as well. So that 13 or 15, whichever number we use for that, will have at least, well, it will have only one SIM active and running. So let's have a look at the configuration of the LTE module. So we can see the one LTE option here. The first priority is always set for SIM1. However, that can be obviously changed as well. And we can specify the failover parameters. So the system can check connectivity latency, or if the connection is up or down, and can be smart enough to change the connection based on that statistics it will get from the connection. So let's say SIM1 is down, it will fail over to SIM2. It would be actually recommended that there are two different mobile network use. So let's say Vodafone and EE, and there are no virtual networks which piggyback on the first. So for example, Virgin Mobile and EE, as the former uses the latter's network. So if we have two different SIM providers, two different maps and networks are used, then the failover should actually work all the time, and there's a chance of better signal and connectivity. Let's have a look at the other features now, such as the VPN. The standard VPN connections for IPsec are up to 300 megabits per second throughput. However, first 16 VPN tunnels with IPsec hardware acceleration enabled can reach up to 800 megabits per second. So that's a huge improvement, and you can have up to 50 VPN tunnels for LAN to LAN or VPN to cloud enabled and configured, and you can choose from many popular protocols such as IKV2 or up to 25 VPN tunnels for JTAG SSL. There are OpenVPN and L2TP and other protocols available. So again, hardware acceleration improves the IPsec VPN throughput. It is now up to 800 megabits per second. Really huge improvement. For teleworkers, these days we've got COVID working from home recommendations. Again, up to 50 VPN tunnels can be configured, so you can mix LAN to LAN or teleworkers connections. Similar protocols are available. Again, improved performance here. And there's a JTAG Smart VPN client fully available for Windows, iOS, macOS, and Android systems. Easy to configure and connect. Another feature I would like to mention here when we talk about the VPN is the JTAG VPN matcher. So let's imagine there is no public IP available on the router because we have received a non-routable IP addresses such as 10 dot something like illustrated here, or 172 or 192, because the router is connected to another firewall, so it's NATed, or maybe it's connected to the LTE through the LTE connection, and it's quite common that those providers will issue a CGN address, carrier grade NAT address, and that is not a public IP address really to use. So LAN to LAN or VPN connections or any VPN connections actually need to connect over public IP address, and this is where the VPN matcher comes handy. So how does this work? The JTAG VPN routers are registered with the same VPN matcher account, so JTAG servers are helping us to establish the connection. So once two devices are under the same VPN matcher account, they can locate each other and then allow to establish a secure end-to-end encrypted VPN tunnel. Quality of service and bandwidth control is one of the other key features that needs to be mentioned here. So we can reserve the high priority classes for specific applications and usage. So let's have a look at the interface actually of the 2927 for this section, and you can see that each one interface can be configured so the traffic can be prioritized and the classes can be defined in terms of percentage as well. So we can prioritize latency sensitive traffic. We can improve experience for business critical applications. We can actually select some applications and easily put them into QoS classes. We can also use the app QoS, so that allows us to select applications or services to prioritize, such as Zoom or Skype. So imagine that you need a reliable connection, so you can talk to your important customers or colleagues at work, let's say over Zoom, and connection is not that great. So you can prioritize that with a matter of a few clicks, really. Another feature I would like to mention here that comes out of the box is the VoIP prioritization. So that is always enabled by default for the UDP 5060 traffic that is used by most of the VoIP providers, really. So once you run the router in your network, that traffic should be prioritized for you. Let's quickly have a look how to enable sorry, the Zoom application. So again, we just go to the QoS app section, open the profile, and then it will allow us to select which application is to be prioritized. Single matter of checking the box, and we are ready to go. The other key feature of JTAG range is the central management. On the right-hand side, you can see that the 2927 has been added to the Vigor ACS platform. It is used for monitoring management. You can reboot or even upgrade the firmware, and it is a really great tool for management purposes. So you can also manage your Vigor APs through the central AP management. So the router comes with that facility, or even the central switch management. Both of them are free of charge and can manage up to 20 or 10 devices. Let's have a look quickly at each of them. So the central AP management, up to 20 Vigor APs locally connected. It brings you the automatic discovery, allows you to monitor the devices. You can even reboot them from the GUI, and it's a matter of adding a profile or profiles, so you can apply them to specific set group of access points. And it's again the matter of checking the boxes, adding the configuration to, let's say, every single access point on particular location network. The other feature I mentioned is the central switch management. 2927 can manage up to 10 Vigor switches. They can be automatically discovered. We can monitor every single port, actually see the hierarchy of the switches, or even reboot PoE devices. This is the switch hierarchy window that illustrates how handy it is. You can clearly see where the uplinks or active ports and other functionality, and it lists you the currently connected switches. Okay, I think Peter will be happy to cover the models right now for you, so hand over to Peter. Thank you.
Thank you, Lukasz. Great level of detail there. Okay, so let's take a look at 3 models in the 2927 series range. So we have the 2927 non-wireless, the 2927 AC and the 2927 LAC. So this has AC wireless and the LTE modem built in with dual SIM card slots. All three units have the same base features, making the selection of the model easier based on whether wireless or wireless plus LTE is required. It's worth repeating what Lucas said earlier, that the 2927 can also use WAN hotspot portal in addition to the two WAN ports on the front, giving you 4 WAN connections on the 2927 and 6 on the AC and LAC by incorporating either a 4G dongle in addition to the built-in LTE modem. If you would like to see how the 2927 compares to the rest of the range, then simply visit dratec.co.uk, select routers, product comparison, and then you can compare the entire range against the feature set that you're looking for. Okay, let's take a look at pricing, availability, dates, and where you can find collateral. Looking at the information we have here, we have the product SKU code, the EAN for identification, availability, optional feature sets, and SRP. The 2927 and the 2927 AC have been launched this week, and we expect the 2927 launch will be mid-October. If you require any other information on the products, then you can visit dratec.co.uk, or on the slide here, you can follow the links directly for an overview of the range on the 2927 series, and then individual links on this particular models of the non-wireless version, AC and LAC. Now we're going to move to the questions and answers section of the presentation. And for this, I'd like to invite back Alex Schuker of Dratec. Alex, how have we been getting on?
Hi, Peter. Thanks very much. Yes, we've been having lots of questions asked during the presentation over the chat, so we've been getting back to everyone there. If there's any questions you've got that we haven't answered yet, just bear with us. We'll be going through answering those so that you'll get an answer directly. But during this session, we wanted to just pick some of the questions and ask them over the audio so that we could share them with everyone. So I can just run through a few of the questions. We'll not take too long for this, just about 5 minutes. So that's just to give you an idea of how long the questions will be. So we'll just kind of run through kind of 4 or 5 questions. So I'll start with the first question, and I think we got Łukasz here who can help with some of the answers. So the first question is about the support for DSL. So the question is, does the Vigor 2927 support FTTC, e.g. the DSL-based connections delivered by a twisted pair, a copper line? Does it support that directly? Is that something Łukasz should be able to give us an answer on?
Thank you, Alex, for that question. So yes, just to clarify that, the fiber to the cabinet FTTC is supported with the modem, so we can connect the Vigor 130, for example, and into the 1.1 or 1.2 interface, and then that should work fine. So no problem with that. You just need a DSL modem, and then it should be fully compatible.
Yeah, thanks, Łukasz. So a really common scenario we see is where people maybe have a fiber to the premise connection on maybe 1.1 and then a backup want to have a DSL connection on 1.2, and then you can quite easily just add the Vigor 130 modem to 1.2 to get that set up. And the setup is quite straightforward. You don't have to do anything on the Vigor 130 modem. It's just a case of connecting it to the WAN port, and then you add the ISP details into the 2927, and it then uses the 130 as a modem. So thank you for that, Łukasz. Next question is on 5G. A question is about 5G, and is that on our roadmap? So I think I can answer that one. So yes, we will have 5G products in the future. We'll make announcements as soon as we've got anything to share from this. It's a common question we get on our webinars at the moment. I think there's some interest on 5G in the future. There isn't any 5G in the 2927 range as it stands, but we do have plans for 5G products. So as soon as we've got anything, we'll to share that we can announce, we'll be letting you know about that and what products we'll be adding in the range which support 5G directly. And the next question is about teleworkers and dial-in VPN. So the question is, what operating systems are supported for SSL VPN, and does it require a specific client, or can you use any SSL VPN client?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we need a JTAG Smart VPN client because SSL VPN on JTAG products is specific to JTAG devices. So it's a free client that can be configured and downloaded for operating systems such as Windows, Android, iOS. So Apple devices are also supported, and macOS as well. So all of them can have its own version of Smart VPN client and can use that VPN, SSL VPN we currently provide. No
okay,
license
thank you.
required.
And I think you possibly covered earlier that it's quite easy to get those. You just look on the kind of app store of Apple or Android to download that, or alternatively for the Windows clients, you can just download that on the DRATEC site in the download section.
That's right. Just please type Smart VPN and you should be able to find one.
Yes. Great. Another question, quite an interesting one. It's about having separate companies using the same router. So the question is, can you separate two companies but have them going by the 2927? So let's say you want to have two companies using it, but keep them completely separated so that they've got different LANs and can't communicate with each other, and also allow teleworkers to dial in remotely via VPN, but get them to dial into the correct network and not have access to the other network. So that's a question about whether or not that's possible with the 2927.
So that's a great question, because the 2927 comes with up to 8 subnets. So you can actually have 8 different companies connected to this router, and the connection or interLAN routing is disabled by default, so they won't be able to talk to each other. Now, the question about the VPN teleworkers, it is possible to specify which LAN subnet will be used for each of the VPN profiles. So if, let's say, teleworker 1 should connect to the company A, that can be configured on the router as well. So worry-free and secure option is available there.
Okay, great. So how does that, is that based on their username, their credentials then, and then that username will always be in the specific LAN that you've assigned it?
So yes, the profile can be configured with the username and password, for example, and then we can assign that to a specific subnet.
Okay, great. And actually, there's a follow-on question to this that's very similar. It's about dial-in users and whether or not we have any two-factor authentication support. So two-factor authentication is where you're using more than just a password to authenticate. It's often a password plus something else, maybe a token or some sort of type of one-time key. So it's a question about whether that's supported.
So that's obviously supported for some time now on JTAG routers. MOTP it's called, so mobile one-time password is available. We just need to download an app that will be used for configuration, and then each time we connect over the VPN, a unique PIN will be provided for authentication purposes instead of the password.
Okay, and do you need to use a separate app? Is there any apps that are provided by DRATEC?
The Smart VPN client would be recommended because this option actually comes with the application itself. So please have a look there again. Use the Smart VPN client. I find it myself. It's one of the best VPN applications on the market, in my opinion.
Great, thank you, Łukasz. And if anyone wants any more details on how to set up, we've got some articles in the support section that explain kind of step by step how you go through configuring that. And now I've got a sales-related question actually about the 2927, and if there is any kind of not for resale units available, kind of any demo units available, because I know we've done some of those for other models. I think I can answer that one myself. At the moment, I don't believe, Peter might be able to correct me, I don't believe there's any NFR pricing set, but it's something that I think we may be doing in the future. So if that's the case, then the dealer price list will be updated to reflect that, to give NFR pricing.
Yeah, I'd agree there, Alex. I think it will come in time. Łukasz, Alex, thank you for your support today. All that remains for me to do now is to thank everybody for attending the webinar. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us directly. Thank you.
Thank you.